Hello, my friends. This is Minister Hill once again. And today we want to talk about some of the things that's going on in the world, like in the Middle East. Do you not know behind everything there's a reason? When the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah in the book of Genesis, when they went to war, it was because other kings wanted to take their goods. When Israel went to war, it was because God brought other nations up against them because they were rebellious. So we want to talk about the Middle East. In this present life in which we live, there is a spiritual viewpoint and there is a natural viewpoint. So as a preacher that walk in the Spirit and by the Spirit, I must enlighten those that are in the natural or according to the world system. Satan is the god of this world and the worldly kingdom. Did y'all hear me? In the book of Matthew, the 4th chapter, the 8th through the 9th verse, the devil taketh Jesus into an exceeding high mountain and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. God is the God of the universe, but he is not the God of the casinos in Las Vegas, of the strip clubs in Las Vegas. Satan is the God of that world. But he, the God that I serve, is the God of the churches in Las Vegas and the saints thereof. So in the natural or in the world, Satan will cause nations to go to war with one another. Satan is a daredevil. North Korea is daring the U.S. to tamper with their ship that is at sea. North Korea is daring the America and British to attack them. This is the mind of Satan. Satan is the author of violence. Unsaved men without compassion for human life anticipate sending a nuclear missile our way. But this will never happen in this lifetime because God has to intervene one way or another, because Jesus first has to come back to rapture up his church. Those of us that are living right and are set aside for him. So I have no fear of North Korea. Why do nations want to blast each other? Rather than love each other. The reason is because Satan is in the midst of the men. In the book of Job, the sons of God presented themselves before the Lord, and Satan was in the midst of them. The one thing that I would question is why we Americans allow our enemies from other nations come here to live. I don't understand that. Knowing that their Korean brothers and Arab brothers hate us. Why do we allow them to come here and live? They drive cabs over the U.S., plotting. They own clothing stores and beauty supply stores, and they have relatives back home that are at war with us in Iraq, wanting to attack us in North Korea. If you hate me as a person, as a man, and you are shooting at me every day, my friend, then I will not allow your brother or your sister to come live in my house. Isaac, the child of the promise, is the father of the Jews. Ishmael, whom represent flesh, is the father of the heirs. He is the father of the entire Arab nation. Isaac, spirit, Ishmael, flesh, has always been at war with each other. First naturally so, then spiritually so. Your spirit as a child of God says, have one woman. Your flesh and the lust thereof says, have three women. Right now, Iran, Ishmael, which means flesh, wants to destroy Israel, the Jew, Isaac, which means spirit. Iran wants to destroy Israel. Am I right? The Bible says in the book of Genesis, the 16th chapter, 11 through the 12th verse, Ishmael, he will be a wild man. The Middle East will always be in uproar and fight among themselves and fight against any other nations that try to subdue them and control them. They will always be at an uproar, and nothing we can do about it. And he will always fight against other nations that try to subdue and control him from being a wild man. You just can't do it. Other nations cannot fight against God's spoken word. No matter where Ishmael may journey, even in America, he will be a wild man, whether driving a cab or just having general conversation. We, the U.S., will always be at war with the Middle East until someone of both nations meet Jesus. We got to bring Jesus to the conference table because he is the Prince of Peace. Ishmael will be a wild man by nature until that nature is changed by the new birth of Jesus Christ. By nature, Americans feel supreme power until that nature is changed by the new birth. By nature, we all was born in sin, making us sinners, and some learn to be wild by others, such as gang members, bad influence. And it will take the new birth, my friend, to change that person. So Ishmael was born in sin, a sinner, a wild man, a double whammy. When we leave the Middle East from the battle, they will continue to be violent in that region because Ishmael, the Arab, will always attack Isaac, the Jew. Yes, he will. Abraham, as a man of God, went unto his wife MAID, Hagar, having sex with her by the permission of his wife Sarai. But this was not in God's plan. Sometimes as people, we can hook up with a wrong person that we clash with, argue with, and that we fight with. And if the two of you should have children, they will be stubborn and rebellious children because they are of offspring of two people that did not agree together. And there was no sweet harmony, and the two of you moved without God. Are you following me? So after Abraham went into Hagar, they produced Ishmael. And Sarai was in the beginning for her husband having sex with her maid, because she said that the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto thy maid. It may be that I may attain children by her. She was barren. I'm getting ready to go to part 2. Sarai was barren, and she thought the Lord had restrained her from having